How long gone? Happy Monday. I'm in Singapore and it is 5:30 a.m. This could be the earliest I've ever recorded. How long gone? Is this a new world record?
World record for us, yes. For podcasting in general,
Sure.
not positive.
Sure. I'm only talking about our internal charts. I'm not talking about the world at large.
My internal charts, okay. Yeah, thank you for doing that. And thank me for podcasting later in the day. You know, this is about as late as I've ever podcasted before.
That's a good point. And I appreciate you giving me that grace period of an extra hour, because I after my 19-hour direct flight on Singapore Air, I was able to get a nice night of sleep. But, you know, that first hour, if you wake up before AM, that first hour is still a little cloudy.
I would assume it is beyond a little cloudy. I would be full cloud coverage if that were me. But, you know, you got it done because you had to, right, Chris?
That's right. Well, I mean, so this is the longest direct flight you can take
on planet Earth.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're going to introduce a new one from some city in Australia to London that's going to be longer. But this, as of right now, from what I understand, the 19-hour flight from New York to Singapore direct is the longest you can take. So it was a personal victory for me just to make it through. Was really all I was trying to do.
So 19 hours. No layovers, just 19 hours straight up. 19
hours straight up. It's an airplane that only has business class and premium economy. So it's like it's not that big actually, but the service, I mean, it's Singapore Air. It's like the service is pretty amazing. It's like the bed is like wide. It's like actually wide enough to lay in. Mm-hmm. They put a pad. They have to make the bed for you. Like you can't do it yourself because of the way it's configured. Like. Mm-hmm. Not to get points guy on you, but you know, on Delta or most airlines, you push the button and it reclines the seat all the way.
Sure.
The back flips down and connects with the front to make it a more kind of full size. But then once you're in there, you're kind of locked in until you have to ask one of these nice women to change it. Mm-hmm. So that part was annoying, but otherwise.
So you have all the luxury of first class flight with the sort of bedside manner of staying in a hospital room where you have to hit a button for somebody to come change your diaper or make your bed. That's exactly stuff like that.
That's exactly They served like 2 full meals that everyone but me ate completely, licked their plates, and I was like, I swear to God, once an hour they'd be like, Chris, or Mr. Black, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, dude, I can't. Like, I'm not eating halibut on a plane. Like, that's just too crazy.
You're not gonna have spicy chili crab on your flight over.
Well, because on these flights to Asia, you know, they have like Western menu, bland menu. They got all the options. You know what I mean? So, but apparently they're famous for their skewers.
Satay.
Yes, they're famous. Like Singapore Air has a famous satay, is what I was told.
Were you able to eat a tofu satay with peanut sauce at the very least?
Now you know that exactly something I want and have had many times in my life, but no, I was not able to have that.
Okay, so 19 hours you ate. No, all loads refused on this flight. Not a thing went into your mouth.
No, that's
that
not
was
true.
provided by
Singapore.
Back up.
What I did was, and because I was in the lounge, so I had right before I boarded, I had a giant plate of eggs to get my protein, and then
I know that it's impossible to measure. Ballpark, how many eggs total were consumed?
I would say 5 to 6. I'd say 5 to 6. That's light work. work. And then
that's light work. And then eating 6 eggs is not the lightest work.
Honestly, I've always.
I'm a big boy. I eat a lot. 6 eggs ain't light work. It's work. Yeah, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's work.
You're able to complement it with sausage and other, you know what I mean? That could keep you full. So but I also
had no grass-fed beef along with these eggs.
Exactly. I did something I've never done before. I did something I've truly never done before because I knew I had no choice because of the extreme distance of this flight. I bought a reusable water bottle from Kento, the greatest makers, the highest end makers of Japanese reusable water bottles, and I think I tried to estimate. I think I drank 3 gallons of water or more in on the night hour flight.
How big was your tumbler? Was it like
It was a
the
32-ounce tumbler.
32
It
ounce,
was a
950
32 ounce.
milliliter, 32 ounce,
Yeah.
clear silicone, not glass.
It's a beautiful product. It's a great product. I bought a
Clear?
I bought a bunch of them for the house because we got the Berkey. So I was like, I need these at the house.
These are actually really nice. I've never checked one out. I like the amber color one.
They make a
kind of sneak a
nice
sneak a peaty scotch in there. No one would be the wiser.
That's right. They make a very nice like cold, hot cold tumbler that a lot of like real coffee heads, like Hunter uses one, and Fran Miller did a collaboration. Like they made a tumbler with them. It's a nice product. But yeah, so I drank more water than I've ever drank in my life, and it made me want to do a 24-hour water fast. And I think I could have done it on the plane.
I think you kind of did, bitch.
Yeah, I mean, but I had food. I mean, I had a bar eventually. So
Okay.
it was kind of fine. I didn't sleep at all because it boarded at 9:30 a.m. So it was kind of like a full day. And then I watched the Australian Open, and I read Keith McNally's memoir in one sitting. So I really
Wow.
I made use of my time, but I felt the last 3 or 4 hours you feel fucking insane.
Yeah, I could only imagine, because most of it is just over water, and whenever that happens, when you're over water for like 10 hours straight, you start to go a little cuckoo.
I felt the airport. I didn't really get to check it out but the airport is also famously nice.
Yeah. I've been once, but too drunk to remember.
Sure. I think that's how it's supposed to be experienced.
There were chairs and like walls and stuff.
Yeah, it had all the important parts of it. It had walls, it had a ceiling and
Roof.
walls and stuff. It had people with suitcases and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of those. So you've been okay.
It was yeah. So then my driver came. It's, of course, 80 degrees, 100% humidity, pouring rain, which is the forecast for my entire stay. But I'm here to kick the tires, check out the malls, go to Nancy Silverton's Mozza, Singapore.
No way.
There's like a Lucali here. There's like a lot of American restaurants here, which is interesting. Like I like not just like Morton's. There's some that are a little.
Wow. There's a stir crazy there, I heard.
It's crazy, yeah, but they kind of keep it quiet. But they did license to Singapore pretty early on in the project.
Okay, yeah, the John and Vinny's tough to get a res there. Well, I want to talk about Keith McNally's memoir that you read in one sitting. How did you get access to this galley?
I mean, you should have one coming to you as well. Actually, it was
not because Keith might come on the show. Just
I think Keith
just to read.
I think Keith might come on the show. I don't think it's out of the question, but it's because Stuart, the guy who I'm doing the book with at Simon & Schuster, Keith's book is Simon & Schuster. So I asked Stuart. I went directly to the source versus going through a publicist. But I asked him to send you one as well. But I think there was
Stuart, if you're listening, Stuart in LA would like to read.
I think there was an issue though where he was pulling a Kanye move and wanted to like change things after the galleys had already been sent out, which is a little harder with the printed word versus the audio.
But it's not. I mean, every time in the handful of times I've read and received a galley, it always says,
of course,
this is not the final work, but it usually is for the most part, right?
Yeah, and with something this highly kind of anticipated, you know what I mean? People are chomping at the bit, but I mean, it's a extreme book for me. You know what I mean? It's got kind of everything, but it's cool because it's basically like,
for listeners at home, really quick who don't know, Keith McNally, legendary New York restaurateur, the Odeon, Balthazar, Pastis, Minetta Tavern, all these zillions of ones. A little bit of a playboy in the 80s and 90s. Made a lot of money, and he's kind of a legendary dude.
But it's like he talks. I mean, the restaurant stuff is really interesting. Even if you don't care about restaurants, like the ins and outs of it, like the New York real estate of it all, Soho in the 80s, the whole thing. But like he gets divorced twice. He's got multiple homes. He spends a lot of money. It's got everything you need.
Okay.
There is a part though where he talks about a A-list actress kind of getting in touch with him out of the blue after seeing a story about him in Vanity Fair, and then they had a little bit of an affair, and he doesn't name her, and I'm a little upset because I feel like that's the whole point. You know what I mean? So maybe the new version, if he changed it, he names her. That's what I'm hoping for.
Okay. Well, do you think that it's possible that people are going to be able to figure out who this person is through context clues?
Maybe because he tells.
Do you have any guesses?
I don't, honestly, because it's someone who was, but it's someone who apparently was recognized. But like he took her after they sleep together. He has to take his son Harry to a hockey game because he's in like he's 13 or 14, and she comes with him. And apparently all of the boys on the team were freaking out. Like she appealed to that, like a younger audience.
Oh, okay. So it was not Martha Stewart.
Exactly. That's the only clue, is that it's probably someone from like the CW or like Friends. I just don't know. I don't know. It's fascinating. But she did.
I don't know why I was going Jen Aniston as well in a weird way.
She lives in LA. I know, because that's the whole thing. And then he tells a great story about him getting back together with his ex-wife and going to Pastis for brunch and being sat next to her and her new boyfriend.
Damn. Okay. At least he's saying cool stories like that. I think that's cool.
No, it's honestly really really.
So
good.
you recommend it? You think it's going to be a smash?
It'll be a smash. I mean, it's definitely got like that kind of New York. Like it's got the New York thing that, like, if you lived in New York during any of this time, it's obviously going to hit harder for you. But I think it's pretty universal as far as like the divorce and the drugs and the growing up middle class and that whole thing.
Can't wait to read it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm reading all this Jonathan Ames now that he's our Buddhist leader.
Yeah, our Buddhist leader. Our Ames.
But it's good because even regardless of if I think it's a good book, like it, or even am into that style of book, which I am not, all of it takes place on streets that I've lived in, that I drive down every, it's just like, and then I went right on Franklin. I went to the 76 gas station. I was like, I've been to that gas station 100 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of Jonathan Ames and him talking about herring so much, it's on my to-do list this week to try and enjoy pickled herring. So if any,
I love a to-do list that's like try to like new food.
Well, not new food in general, a very specific food.
No,
but yeah, of course my to-do list is really stupid looking. You know what I mean?
That doesn't surprise me completely, but I mean, you've had this before. I've honestly only had it.
I don't think I've ever had pickled herring before.
I think I've had it once at a very traditional Swedish restaurant.
Yeah, I know the Jewish homies be eating it, but then there's also all the Nordic presentations.
But
the Swedish, the Norway, the Copenhagen, little rye bread, some fish, some dill, some onion.
Yeah, that
sounds nasty. So I've never wanted it, but his interpretation of keep adding mayonnaise into it until it's orally tolerable. Not a huge sell, but I feel like there is some magic in them there. Herring.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that also I think that you're going into it with an open mind and a fascination that could allow your taste buds to open up and see things a little differently. And
of course, worst case scenario, like everything that we do, I can get 1,200 words out of it, right?
I don't know, dude. I mean, the herring thing is.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Herring. What a twisted. How many words is that now? Okay.
All right, we got 24 so far. I got this. This is no problem. I mean, I don't think that is. It really is one of the most unappetizing things I can think of. Like that kind of fish mixed up with mayonnaise on bread with dill, a flavor I don't really like either. But I know that you're willing to push it further than me, and this is your sport. This is your discipline.
This is my no pain, no gain.
Exactly. And I respect that about you.
I give it all that I've got when it comes to putting stuff in my mouth.
It's really
and speaking of food, we're really just obviously I'm into food a lot, so it's happening. But I was grocery shopping at my local Ralph's, Mark Maron and my local Ralph's.
Yeah. The podcaster Ralph's. That's how we call it. That's what we call it.
The Glendale podcaster Ralph's. What a produce section. You heard it here first. But I'm bopping around, grabbing some bits and things here and there. And who do I spy with her trusty gay lieutenant, one Amanda Bynes.
Okay.
Just doing some grocery shopping on a Wednesday afternoon in Glendale.
Amanda Bynes, who now looks like a kind of Hot Topic employee. has entered.
You're sweet for saying that.
Yeah, I'm being as nice as I
You
can.
could have done a lot worse. I mean, obviously, you know, if you watch like, you know, documentaries and hear the story and like the Nickelodeon shit, you know, she has had some issues, and I don't think that they're all,
Oh, of course,
or any her fault. You know,
no. She got dealt.
She's been traumatized legitimately, and you know, I do feel bad for her, and I don't want to insult her appearance because it feels
I didn't
a little.
I didn't know she had
unnecessary.
I didn't know she was doing so poorly though that she's living in Glendale. Is that something you're concerned with, or do you need to?
Thank you for not giving up on finding a way to insult her that insults me more,
No,
your friend and co-host. No, I mean, honestly, no, I take zero offense to it. I'm impressed.
I love Glendale.
There can be a lot of factors as to why she was shopping over there.
That's true.
I mean, I would like to think that Amanda has laid low and shifted over to Glendale with her GL, but
do you think
it could have just been a fly through?
Yeah. I mean, they could have been going to a barbecue. You know, just having to pick up some chips and guac.
I don't know if it's real barbecue season in LA.
I guess that's true.
I mean, it is, but less.
My bad.
I would say it's an involuntary.
I'm sorry. She was. Yeah. She was.
I know that you're in Singapore now and you don't know what's going on in LA, but there is.
Yeah. There's been a problem. There's been a problem.
There's been a problem.
Do you think that did you see though, did you get a glimpse into anything in her cart?
I was trying to take a photo secretly the entire time, and I was unable to focus on what was going on. But
was it like
she was spotted in kind of the canned food section?
So she could have been making a donation.
No. They were not doing a haul of things. We were there because we were getting cases of water. Hold for applause.
Yeah.
To donate at the Koreatown YMCA.
Huh.
Bopped over to BCD Tofu for some life-affirming small, tiny fish and soup. Yummy soup.
Life-affirming hot water.
Yeah, and she just had like the little hand basket, and there were maybe 4 or 5 small items in there. So this was personal use shopping.
Okay, she was doing that, but that is a pretty good.
She wasn't getting the bulk bin chomps stick for the first responders at all.
Yeah, I mean, every restaurant is being so nice to the first responders, and I can just imagine some first responders pulling up to horses and sitting down and being like, you know what, I'm good. I know this is free, but I'm all set. I'm gonna kind of. There's plenty of other options on the table.
You know, my brain was going the other way around, putting myself in their boots. You know, it seems like all the restaurants who are offering their services are sort of offering the most dumbed down pedestrian offerings. Like a restaurant that normally sells all this crazy stuff, they're like, you know, we have quesadillas for our. It's like the kids menu is the only thing they're offering stuff for, which I guess I get. You want efficient, affordable nutrition, as many calories as you can get into it for the least amount of money, keep things going, and then we can, you know, roll out the dessert cart and the caviar service later. But you know, give them a little something. Get a little, a little splash would be nice.
Well, I'll tell you what. I said this to you, and I don't know if it's too soon, but I'll tell you what. I've seen a handful on my Instagram of skateboarders that are also professional firefighters, and those guys are about to have
some pussy for us, huh?
So much sex, it's insane. Like there might be a baby boom after this thing is all done with just skaters who are also firefighters. I didn't know that was.
It's not a thing that I've noticed on my feed. But I believe you.
I mean,
so are these are just like dudes who skate who also are firemen, or they became like self-deputized?
No,
we're gonna go out and do some work.
No. They're guys who skate, like, I would say not professionally, but close to it, and then professionally they are firefighters.
Really?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
I mean, happy for them. Good for them.
Well, I would say this. If you're looking to, I think all the donation centers I've heard are full. They don't need clothes. They don't need anything right now except cash and apparently head for these guys. So if you kind of want to really get on the front lines, you know what to do. You know what to do.
Just a little piece of head. Yeah. I feel like there's some, I mean, like, hey, you guys want some edibles?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
You know, for when the day is done.
The stuff about the prisoners that are like out there risking their lives for 35 cents an hour is really crazy, and something I wasn't aware of until this kind of disaster happened.
It's been going on for decades. It's a long standing thing. I think, I don't know. I mean, I think it's sort of voluntary. Like, they don't have to do that. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm sure they. Well, I mean, it's.
But if I was cooped up in jail and going cuckoo, I would go do that.
Yeah, for sure. I think when it's extra dangerous, though, you should be paid a living wage, even if it goes into your commissary.
I agree with that. Yeah, the $1 is somehow more insulting than zero pay.
Yeah, it's one of those things, exactly.
It's like when I offer Diplo $1,000 to DJ with me, and he goes, "Just stop.
It's cool, bro. It's cool.
I'll give you the money if it's like that.
I'll be there. At midnight. So how is it going over there? Does it feel any better? Does it feel worse?
It depends on where you live.
Sure.
Where I live, much better. We got lucky. We're in a little zone where the smoke does not blow into our area very much. Our air quality is like in the 30s today, which is better than it normally is in our awful climate of Southern California, just due to the geography. But it was the air quality is worse in like Orange County than it is in my house right now. And I can drive to a fire in 10 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. Just the way the wind patterns and all that shit. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
So it's a beautiful day in Glendale. It doesn't really smell like smoke. Not much ash going on. Both of the big fires are starting to become more and more contained. Mm-hmm. There's the scare of the Palisades one moving over to the northeast into Encino and Woodland Hills, Sherman Oaks, and then straight over to Brentwood. And that's where, once Brentwood is in the crosshairs, then
well that's when
the big DC-10s start dumping 10,000 gallons of fire retardant.
Yeah, I was about to say that's when
the Bentleys,
the private firefighters really start making money.
Yeah. But I think overall, there seems to be positive movement. There seems to be a light at the end of the tunnel, but there's supposed to be some more heavy winds in the next couple of days that could change things. And, depending on what corner of social media you look at, you can really start to drive yourself crazy with conspiracy theories.
Yeah, it seems that those are running rampant. I mean, I think it's crazy that this has coincided with the kind of meta rollback on any sort of fact checking.
Right.
Seems like a real bad time. I think any time's a bad time for that probably, but this is especially bad because people's lives are, it's not just like dumb shit like Trump lying about something that doesn't matter. It's like I think the arson stuff is particularly because I think people really, if you want to deny climate change, you really want arson to be true. You know what I'm saying? So you're really,
and you really want the arsonist to be an illegal immigrant.
Yeah, which I think is that I think you're. I don't think that is going to be the case, but the stars could align depending on how much fake news trickles through onto the World Wide Web.
It's crazy, and so much has been affected. Even if you have not had your home destroyed or had to be evacuated or anything like that, it's really putting a lot of bizarre thoughts into everyone's minds.
Oh, not for sure.
About what's going to happen next. But all we can do is pod through it.
That's true.
And all of our friends and listeners and previous guests who are in Palm Springs and Ojai and Laguna, just make sure if you're going to take a photo of your hotel room, don't make it look nice.
Yeah,
have your suitcase strewn everywhere. Don't tidy up.
Don't tidy up.
Make it look a little shitty.
I'm sure you're aware that a friend of the show, Spencer Pratt, and his wife Heidi Montag, their house burned down, and he went on Instagram Live and asked people to stream her 2010 album to get some income, and apparently it's like gone to number one.
Yeah, I think it's number 2 on iTunes, which is still crazy.
It's very cool. It's very cool that people, because I mean,
hopefully Heidi makes her advance back.
It's only been 15 years, so I'm sure she's got another 10 before she can pay the advance back. But we'll try.
Yeah, I think I just read something that she spent $2 million of her own money to make that album. And she says it's better than Michael Jackson's Thriller, which I love the confidence.
I kind of love the confidence too. Like, fuck it. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I haven't listened to it.
Yeah. Shout out to Spencer. I know you listen sometimes. Much love to you, brother.
Much love to you, brother.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going down my list here. Oh yeah. I want to talk about. I'm gonna DJ, even though it's not a great time to talk about that, but it should be happening. Next, I guess this
week, right?
This coming week, yeah. It is Friday, January 17th at Homage in Chinatown, Los Angeles. I'm going to be DJing just some cool dance music with some friends. One of the friends, George Daniel, friend of the show, he's going to come back.
Electronic music. It's fucked up that his real name is George Daniel. I'm gonna have to ask to see his ID at some point, because I ain't ever seen his passport. But
you might not want to know the answer to that.
I think it is his real name, which is a real gift from God. 2 first names as a full name, real. That's what every actor dreams of. That's what every actor dreams of.
Yeah, and also my friend Nick is going to be opening as well. Shout out to Nick. But yeah, it'll be us playing dance music all night, a little house, a little techno, 10 to 2, easy peasy. Come on down. Hang out, have fun, shake off a little stress, and hopefully we'll be a little out of the woods by then. I had one note that I had a good stoner thought yesterday, and then we can move on to real stuff.
Good.
Good. I had the idea of opening a weed dispensary in Glendale called Zazanian, because every Armenian person's last name ends with a IAN.
Oh.
And you take the Zaza and you put it together. It's sort of a real home run. So if any investor, I know Carolyn's dad will probably be down. He'll be able to pitch in most of this, but if anyone else wants a taste, and I'm going to need some Armenian people to work it so I don't get murdered.
Yeah, I was about to say, you can't be the white boy in there.
But I'll do all the marketing and stuff. It'll be fine. Pure Beauty, we have a meeting next week and we'll figure out what we're going to do there.
You're like...
Yeah, I went down to Orange County yesterday. We went and hung out with Carolyn's parents in Long Beach, had some Vietnamese food, went to the dog beach. And down there in Orange County, 37 minutes with no traffic.
Business as usual.
You would not know there was that half of Los Angeles was in rubble.
If you go on their social media, you'll see a lot of Gavin Newsome and the AI picture of Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom saying we failed or whatever. But as far as the day-to-day life, they're living the same.
The day-to-day life, they are going to Fat Mom hit class. They are having rosé at 5 p.m. It's all business as usual.
That is crazy.
Over there.
That is kind of insane, though. But I mean, I guess also like what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, in their minds, they're like, oh, there's a fire in the hills of Los Angeles. Likely place for that to be. That's why I don't live there.
I mean,
that's why I live in my boat.
The whole thing where people are like
in Balboa
going eat the rich mode is so fucking crazy to me. Like I just don't like celebrating people losing their entire lives, even if they're a B-list. Like I don't. You can't do that. That's just too dark. That's insane to me.
Yeah.
But I wonder how far it's going to go, because if we're celebrating Luigi and we're celebrating people losing their entire lives because they've had some success, like where do we go from here? Like how bad does it get?
Good question. Very good question. Yeah, I think there is a sliding scale of what these celebrities are allowed to do and allowed to post, and I think that if you have a lot of money and your house burns down and your life's possessions are completely destroyed, that is a bummer regardless of how much money you have in your bank account. And that sucks. But there's also, you could go Chrissy Teigen mode and do your crying Instagram post inside of your walk-in closet that's bigger than my entire 3-bedroom home.
Chrissy Teigen will never learn. She's kind of the gift that keeps on giving, really. If you like to be mad
I feel like she needs to exist.
Yes.
To let out some of the air in the pipes so the whole house doesn't explode.
Yeah,
she's on the front line sort of taking the brunt of it, laying her body down as a shield so we can all live.
Yeah, she's laying her body down to save a nice pile of bandage dresses from flames. But yeah, she's doing everything she can, Jason, and I'm glad that you see that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they saw Mandy Moore got killed for posting a GoFundMe for her like brother-in-law.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, she got destroyed, you know, and it's just like, dude, what are you supposed to do, man? Like, so like you can't expect. I don't know. I just don't know what is expected of people.
I think there's so many people, and I'm probably one of them, and you're probably one of them, where when we see all of this going on, we see half the people we know posting GoFundMes. I think I would have a very hard time doing that myself.
Oh, of course. Yeah, definitely.
And I think you would too. And I think when we see people who seem to have no problem doing that, it angers us because we don't have that confidence or that ability or whatever. Like, you know, you could post it in a way and nobody's offended, and then you could post it in a way where people are like, oh.
Well, I think what's happening too is that a lot of it is organized, basically like friends being like, I know, you know, like Yasi, for example, who's like, look, I'm going to be fine. Like, there's people that are worse off than me, but her friends are like, yeah, but your house burned to the fucking ground. She's an
example of a person like that who would never.
Your house burned to the fucking ground. Like, we're doing this. You know, they basically are, they're going to be like, we're doing this, and you're going to like it. And it's, I mean,
and that's got to feel so amazing having so many people reach out and help you out.
Every GoFundMe I've seen that I've donated to has been well over the goal, well over.
Yeah.
And I think that is, because to me, it's like there's only so many rolls of toilet paper and clothes that are going to help people. You know what I mean? Like, money, cash is cash. But this has led me to a darker thought, and I want to know, where's the CEO of GoFundMe right now? Because if he seems like he could be with Bezos and Musk, the amount of money he's making, because they take a nice little percentage.
Yeah, I saw somebody at a press conference a day or two ago, and she was like, oh, I want to speak off record really quick. This message goes out to the CEO of GoFundMe. You know, I tried to donate $500 to a friend of mine, and they were taking $94 service fees for that.
That's crazy.
And she's like, that is just so fucked up at a time like this. And I don't know if they're doing, I don't think they're inflating their prices.
No, I think that's just the price.
During this time, that's just the price.
When the numbers get big, the percent, you know what I mean? Like, all the numbers go up.
And also, is the GoFundMe where it asks for a gratuity?
Yes, there's a gratuity thing that you have to like.
I'm confused by that. Who does that gratuity go to?
It's like we're at fucking Blue Bottle. I don't know who the gratuity goes
to. Are they
to.
hand delivering the money?
Yeah, right.
I thought it was all electronic at this point.
I bet it's really hard to get the money.
Does the tip go to me for being nice?
I bet the tip goes to the employees that are salaried employees of a tech company who I mean, what are you doing a tip out at the end of the night at the corporate office? Like, you're all maybe you're all having your shift drink, going over the numbers at the end of the day at GoFundMe.com.
I don't know. I don't want to speak ill of that organization, because they are making it very easy to get this money to where it needs to go.
Of course. But my question is, like, why wouldn't you just use Venmo or like PayPal?
Drop the Zelle.
Yeah, like, I don't know why this thing has got the chokehold on this. I mean, I guess because it feels more like community driven, which people like, and you can like write a note and shit.
Yeah,
you know?
I think the GoFundMe page makes it legitimate, and it can say, you know, it's this, you know, I'm a verified user. This is the real person, and the money's going to the real thing, and it adds some legitimacy to it versus like, yo, here my Cash App. Blow it up, but which seems like
the other fucked up.
As an aside, and we can move on. A good opportunity for a Venmo or a Zelle to build this GoFundMe technology into your app straight up and directly.
Yeah, no, that's true.
One less thing to sign up for. Eat their lunch.
I mean,
if you work for GoFundMe and you want me to edit that from the podcast, just Venmo me.
Just tip me out, and we'll
tip me out, and I'll gladly delete it. We can talk.
Tip me out, and we'll figure it out, Chief. Yeah, I mean, between that and the like price gouging on rentals, like, I saw a fucking 2-bedroom in Marina Del Rey going for $30 a month, and I know that the saying goes, you know, don't waste a good tragedy. which I've heard, this was a COVID thing. This is over and over, but for some reason, I just feel like it doesn't work with this. I don't know. It just doesn't work. Like, everybody hates landlords already, and this is like, this
I think even if you can afford the $30,000 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment, you would rather live in a different city or state than pay on principle.
I think that's what I said last episode, though. It's like, are any of these people,
even if you're a DJ Khaled, you would be like, no, this is just.
I just think that people are principle alone. I just think people are going to leave. If my house burned down, I'm leaving LA and never coming back. It's too tragic. Like, I can't. You know what I mean? Like, there's other places to live that are safer, that are cheaper. And if you were flirting with that idea, and now,
okay, Rogan.
No, I'm not going to the mothership. I'm just saying, if you're flirting with that idea, like, and then your house burns down, are you? What are you going to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to Arizona.
It seems like a sign.
Yeah. That's all I mean, and that's why I think it's going to be so hard for California to recover. Like, I think this is going to be like unprecedented.
Yeah.
Like the actual, when it's all said and done, the amount of money lost and how much it's going to cost to repair things and rebuild things is going to be like unbelievable, staggering.
Yeah. And how many people are going to be like, not going to rebuild that because I don't want the same thing to happen to me next year.
That's the other thing. Yeah. That's the other thing.
Which is crazy, because I was having this conversation yesterday with Carolyn's parents. We're like, let's go down to Orange County and just get away from all the stuff and log off of social media and, have a little mental health day, and then go talk to her. Anytime you talk to your parents or your partner's parents, everyone is just like, hey, older people, boomers, want to talk about insurance, real estate,
for sure,
property tax. So I'm just like, all right, we're gonna chill, eat a little edible, have a little Vietnamese home cooked meal, watch the sunset. It'll be nice. Swing by Maddie's Patties and grab a tater tot, and then it's just like, this is really gonna affect your future investments, and the real estate market is all that is to say, something like the real estate market, the safest bet with investing your money, we're learning, is maybe not potentially the safest,
Yeah, I mean, I think
you can have a dope house on a very expensive piece of land that is uninsurable and a pile of dirt and melted Tesla aluminum.
It's worse than Bitcoin dropping to $1.
It could be worse than investing in Doge.
Yeah, it's the one thing. Could be. What was
or
it?
Peloton.
Yeah, I mean, man, people lost their ass on Peloton. That's why I only invest in myself, Jason, and that's something I know that you're a fan of. But I'm glad. I'm just glad you guys are okay.
I invest in the Chris Black CD. It has a great. I mean, it's not the hugest yield, but it's tried and true.
Look,
Chris lets me pull out every 6 months and reorg.
Bro, chill. Pause.
That's a long soak, brother, Mormon style. I put it in 6 months later. I pull out.
It ain't nothing. Pow. Dude, yeah, I'm. It's a crazy thing to watch. It's also just like it's also when you're on social media as much as I am, for worse, not better. Mm-hmm. It's honestly insane how it just takes over. I mean, it's every single thing you look at on Instagram is about the fire. And it's
you don't even live in LA.
I know, that's what I mean. It must, but I think that this is the good and evil, is like the reason these GoFundMes are overflowing is because of the posting. Like that's just what it is. And I think that it's I think when we're, me included, when we're disparaging all these fucking social media networks for all of their ills and problems, I think in situations like this, even though it's doom scrolling, it does really, really help.
Yeah. I mean, just like what we were saying about GoFundMe.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
We're talking about the dark sides of it, but without it,
yeah, what do you do?
It would be worse.
Yeah, much worse. Much worse.
Yeah, it is crazy. I would recommend now more than ever to do some logging off for just a wee bit. And also just logging off from watching the news, It's hard because you're just always wondering when your chunk of Los Angeles
that's the thing. I think it's
catch an ember.
Some of that stuff, I think, especially if you live in California or LA, it's less about doom scrolling than it is about, like, am I next, and where's the fastest way to find out if I'm next.
Yeah, and that sort of is a new way. Like, there's people who have conspiracy theories that Citizen and Ring app and all these things exist to, make us even more crazy, paranoid, anxious, and, thinking that everyone else in the world is a bad person who's trying to rob them and rape their family.
I think that.
and keeping an eye on this new app that just popped up the very week that this fire showed up. And I'm like, wow, did the people who invented this app light these fires? Because it's a bomb marketing tool to get it into everyone's hands.
I think that's how everyone really is thinking.
To me, watching this app that just gives you these updates all the time, it is the same as, the Ring app, and constantly looking every time you get an alert to see, there's a squirrel in your backyard, or, the Citizen app, a guy was arrested for peeing a mile away from your house or whatever. You just, at a certain point.
Suspect is in custody from peeing 1.5 miles from your home.
Ironically, the one time when you should be turning off your Nest app notifications or when you're on vacation.
Yeah.
So you can actually be on vacation, but that's when you
need it the most.
Put the phone in another room if you got to. I did that a couple days ago. Just plug it in a corner in a back office and just forget about it for a while.
I think I think for me to accomplish anything, I'm going to have to hire someone to take my phone away from me physically, like a bodyguard. The way that the bodyguard used to hold Drake's BlackBerry and extra batteries, I'm gonna need a bodyguard just to take the phone physically away from me and hold on to it for 8 hours until it's time to give it back. Because
is there a safe word? You get one safe word a day.
You get one safe word a day.
The safe word is pop crave. Pop crave.
Look, give
it to me. You get 15 minutes free play, Chris.
If I say pop crave, you hand me the fucking phone right then. I use it for 15 minutes, and if I don't give it back, you can punch me in the face. That's the only way I'm going to stay. That's the only way I'm going to stay.
They have a lot of apps, and they have physical devices
boxes,
now.
Yeah.
I think Lorde was talking about how it really helped her out finishing the record and getting all that stuff done. The one where it's like a Bluetooth thing, like a little magnet you put on your refrigerator, and you can only physically unlock your phone by touching that thingy with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna go write my book at Electric Lady, and I'll have my engineer use that. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, well, I was wondering, now that you have announced your book deal, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're gonna have to carve out hours per week into your already busy week. At least that's what we think. Who knows what's going on behind closed doors? Are you working with an executive coach yet to manage your hours wisely? Harley Pasternak, is he getting on the horn and giving you some life coaching?
No, I mean, it's going to just be terrible. Okay. It's just going to be terrible. I'm going to have to figure it out. I mean, there's been some... I was talking to Kyle.
Okay, your plan is you're going to have to figure it out. Good start.
Kyle Cheka he was like, this is what I did. If you have any other questions, please let me know. So luckily there's a lot of people in my life that are much, much smarter than me.
I remember him telling me I think he talked about what his process was on the pod. Or he does 1,000 words every day.
Yeah, it was like minimum, but he like breaks it out into like what it's going to be every day, like on a calendar, is what I understood.
Oh,
but yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's gonna be fucking hard. I mean, I'm excited, but it's also like, I mean, this is gonna be probably the hardest thing I've ever done. I would assume.
How many? Or do you have a deadline, or is that not public?
Yeah, I mean, it's like end of the you have like a year basically.
You got a year, okay.
I just don't know if I'm the kind of guy who like goes Raven Smith mode and hits Berlin, for 2 weeks and can just like shut out the world. I think I'm going to have to be a little more...
It's called binge writing.
I'm going to have to be a little more practical about it and just kind of be like, on the 19-hour flight to Singapore, I should use 8 hours of that to write. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think
we've talked about this before. I think BJ Novak mentioned going to Las Vegas like during the off season on a Tuesday and getting a little $79 a night suite at the Venetian or whatever, and just posting up there for a few days. Obviously, you live in New York, so that's not so easy to skip over. Maybe we could do that at Atlantic City or Niagara Falls, like the Office episode.
Yeah,
that'd be something.
Don't bring the Office into it. I'll get excited. I think.
How far is Niagara Falls from you? It's not that far of a flight, right?
I don't know. It's closer. Yeah, I mean, it's very close to Toronto. So I think honestly, what I've considered is Atlanta, actually, because
even with the snow.
Well, my parents leave me alone. Like they don't like. I could be upstairs. I have to put a desk in, but I could be there for 8 hours, and they would not. They would not come up there. I can go to the gym. I can go to restaurants, but it's not like as socially busy for me as New York or LA would be. You know what I mean? So it feels like, and the weather's pretty good. You know what I mean? And it's free.
And also, especially if the book has some memoir-like attributes, going back to where it all started, hanging out with your old friends that don't like you as much anymore, but will still rock with you a little bit.
Well, I think I'm going to have to ask. I think people like Jay and people like Ezra that I've known most of my adult life, like I'm going to have to not interview them, but they're going to be tapped for sure because there's shit that I just do not remember. There was one story in particular that I was thinking about that I put
don't
in the
say
pitch.
You don't remember your own memoir because I don't know if Simon and Schuster are going to like that.
I'm saying there's details that you just don't remember. Like
of
I
course.
remember the whole thing. And then there's parts where I'm like, how did that happen? You know, and you have to get those answers from somewhere. And I think that part will be pretty fun, actually. There's one story in particular that I'd completely forgotten about that is so insane. And I'm going to need Jay's help for sure.
Yeah, actually, now that you say that, there are times when you go and hang out with old friends and it's almost like, tell me about me. Yeah. And then they tell you a story like, that what? You sort of know, but there'll be like a whole huge important chunk of it that you just have chosen to forget or selectively forgotten.
No, totally.
And you're like, oh shit, I forgot about the best part about this entire story.
The 4,000 words on shoplifting in the early 2000s, that I can do. That's not going to be a problem. I can kind of crank that. I can kind of crank that out. But I do think that some of the stuff, it's just
that's the chapter my brother is going to be like. I felt that when I felt that I read that with all my thrussy when I got to the shoplifting in high school chapter.
The shoplifting part, but yeah, it's gonna be it's daunting for sure. I mean, I'm excited, obviously, but it's like it's it's a big thing to do. But I also feel like if the opportunity comes, you have to. You know what I mean? No matter how scary it is or intimidating it is, you have to because it's kind of like what's the point otherwise?
I agree. And I think, people would argue that once you get that and you get the deadline and you get the advance, then, the hard part is done because, like I said, you're going to do it because you have to. Versus, when you have the accountability, when you have the carrot dangling and you have the finish line, then you are able to understand what you got to finish versus I'm going to write a book one day.
That's how I feel, kind of. I mean, once the publisher's marketplace screenshot drops, then shit gets real. Then it's like, all right, we got to really do this, and it's also just something that's like, it's just so alone, And I think that's people's gripe about writing in general, but like, for example,
it's going to be just you and ChatGPT, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be me, ChatGPT, the ghostwriter I hire, and AI to kind of get this thing across the line.
This book is dedicated to Grok 2. Without you?
It is. It's just a different, because it's like with this, we got each other. You know what I mean? It's like that's a lot of the reason this is so achievable 3 times a week is because there's 2 people doing it, and we have a shared interest in success.
That's right. Well, is that your roundabout way of asking if I'll give you notes? The answer is no.
The answer is
because the answer is, what's the budget?
What is the budget? Yeah, I'll talk to Stuart, see if he can kind of fit you in there. No, but I'm I'll get to it. It's gonna be tough, but again, if we don't push ourselves, what's the point?
This is exciting, bro.
Thank you.
You're gonna do it.
I'm going to do it for sure. I'm contractually obligated to do it, so I'm definitely going to do it.
Okay. And we're not going to use AI at all, right? Not even just for the outlines?
Well, now that I know that AI is part of the problem why I don't have any water, it's even looking less appealing to me. Something to think about.
Yeah, you listening, Scott Galloway?
No, I literally I've never used ChatGPT. I've never used AI. I've never, I mean, it comes up when I Google search something, you know what I'm saying? But like, I've never purposely sat down and used any of that stuff. And I know that it's good.
It feels like when the internet first came out, or just like digital versions of physical things came out, and you're just like, nah. Like a flight simulator video game versus flying an actual plane.
Yeah.
Like a real pilot's gonna be like, no, that's what are you talking about? It's just not the same as a real thing. Like, I have no interest in that. And then, 30 years later, flight simulators are as real as flying. And you're like, damn, you could fly a plane. I could fly a plane if I use a flight simulator.
Yeah.
To me, it's the same kind of thing where if you're an older head like us, you can have like a hybrid between AI generated and real handcrafted coming from you, and you can just use it in a tasteful way. When you want to become like a songwriter or a producer, you start by doing covers.
Damn, that's a good point.
Instead of writing your
right.
own songs, you start by remixing a song before making your own
Like
song.
making it. Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing versus just like I could have AI and be like, hey, make a song that sounds like Skrillex and Usher featuring Diplo, and it'll just do it. And then, or you can just use it a little bit here and there. I can just say like, hey, just make the Chris Black memoir, and it'll write it. Or you can say like, hey, here's 20 things that happened to me, organize an outline of what the best order for them to be in, and write me a schedule of how to get it done before December 31st. You know what I mean? In those ways where it's not like
I do like the idea of me becoming an electronic music artist simply using AI. That part I like. As soon as we finish, I'm interviewing Liz Pelly, the writer, about her book about. It's called Mood Machine.
Yeah.
And it's like the rise of Spotify and the cost of the perfect playlist. And there was like a Harper's excerpt that is like about all the ghost music that they make and shit. It's all insane, but it's in this same zone that you're talking about. Like it's just like people using things for bad. Like people using things for bad.
You can use a lot of Spotify for bad with AI, and I've seen that book and I want to read it.
Yeah, I've read a little bit of it because we're talking for GQ shortly, but just because we know about this stuff to some extent, so then it's like when you really get into it, you're like, wow, this is worse than I thought. Like you know the kind of highlights in the top line, and you really get into it, you're like, oh, this is way worse. This is way worse.
Yeah, and then you always have that thing in the back of your mind where you're like, well, who on earth would fall for this?
Yeah.
And then, like when you get the telemarketer and then, who would fall for that? 4 million of our grandparents.
A lot of people.
$10 billion later, that's who fell for it. Enough people fall for it.
Yeah, exactly. Enough people fall for it. Exactly.
Well, it's crazy that you're still working the whole time in Singapore.
I mean, it's actually kind of nice because it's basically like I'm so far ahead. Like it's 6:30 in the morning for me. And
it's tomorrow, bitch.
It's Monday, 6:30 a.m. I'll do this. I'll talk to Liz, and then that's it. You know what I mean? And then tomorrow is
damn. So this podcast is already out where you are.
Yeah, my Tuesday, which is usually busy, is completely free because I've already done this stuff today,
bro.
You know what I mean?
I wake up at 2 a.m. By noon, I go to sleep. Wake up at 2. I'm already kicking your ass. Exactly. At 3 p.m., day 4 starts.
I do sound like that a little bit, but no, this is strictly. I mean, I'm sure I'll crash at some point this afternoon. But the Nespresso, the only time coffee really works on me is in situations like this. Like I'm flying high from 3 Nespressos after 8 hours of jet lag sleep. That's the number one time. Coffee works.
I know that feeling. The ball, it ain't pretty, but the ball goes in the hole is the way I always look at it.
Exactly.
How's the podcast? We finished it.
The standard here in Singapore is so it's only been open a month. It's very nice. And unfortunately,
you're at the standard in Singapore.
Yeah, there's a standard in Singapore and I'm here.
What's their theme?
I really like it. It's like I think all of these new ones, because they're owned by Hyatt now, are just like nice hotels. Mm-hmm. They feel standardy, but they're like there's a beautiful.
It's not like
pool.
This one's off the train station.
Yeah, there's like a beautiful pool, and like it's the bathrooms there's like similarities between all of them, but it's not like it doesn't feel like a chain either. Mm-hmm. But I think they've expanded a lot in this part of the world.
What's our theme? Really nice. And affordable.
I think it's just nice and affordable.
So it's 6 a.m. there. You're gonna interview a writer and then off to the mall. What's good?
I found a local gym that I messaged on WhatsApp to see if they offer day passes because it's really nice.
You WhatsApped a gym.
And
you really are far from New York, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, so it's I'm gonna figure that out, and then I'm gonna hit the malls, baby. I got to go to at least one. I'm on Orchard Road, which is like kind of a main drag apparently. So
That's the peach tree of Singapore.
yeah, which there's a big mall there, so I think that's where I'll hit first once I put on my Arc'teryx full suit and get an umbrella out to deal with this.
Damn, bro. Well, is the city built in a way where you're able to move through tunnels and bridges, so where
I don't know
during the rain you don't get wet?
I really don't know because the only thing I've seen of the city is the 30-minute drive in the car from the airport to the hotel. Like
what a crazy skyline, huh?
It's crazy. Like I can't tell.
Isn't there like a big Ferris wheel over there?
Yeah, huge Ferris wheel, but I can't tell when I went to Dubai, I was like, this is so strange because it's like Vegas, LA, Miami, and this has a little bit of that element to it, but it's really because of the weather, it's really lush.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very green in a way that makes it feel less urban, but then there's all these crazy buildings too, so it's kind of got it all.
Damn.
We're gonna
Miami
find out.
on Mars over there.
Damn.
I hope you enjoy some of the great street food.
That's my favorite Future album. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy some great hawker food. I can't wait to dig in.
Hope you eat some sticky rice.
I do love a sticky rice. We're back all week with podcasts. Stay safe over there if you're in LA. Hopefully things are turning around.
Mm-hmm.
And howlonggone.com is the website, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye-bye.